Welcome to this first episode of the podcast. I want to try and call it a ski cast. I really like the idea of naming it that. My name is Matt Bramall. Currently I work as a ski rep. I've just done my one season so far. That was in France in the Three Valleys. And actually tomorrow, which will be Tuesday, I'm hoping to get the news of where I'm going to be placed in Austria for my second season, so very exciting few days. In my spare time, I'm really into making content at the moment. Big fan of giving YouTube a go, but started that this year. But I thought it would be a good idea to pick up the microphone. I've done podcasting in the past when I was a student working within the radio and some other projects around that, but I wanted to add this to the content that I'm creating and sticking along the same theme. So my passion really is being in the mountain. I absolutely love skiing, particularly when there's snow, but also in the summer. It's a very interesting place to be around. There's so many different things to talk about. And the first thing I want to talk about today, which I'm really excited for, is about the running of a ski resort itself. As skiers, as holiday makers, we usually spend no more than 7 to 10 days there. The lucky ones might spend 2 weeks, but usually we go there. We are part of that resort for a very short amount of time, and then we leave, and we are just then waiting for our next trip. There are others, though, there are workers like myself that are around the resort from start till finish. I work very much within the holiday side of things, so I'm very much with the customers, lots of customer service, that type of thing. But then you have the staff that actually make the resort run, who without it you wouldn't be able to jump on your lift, you wouldn't be able to have a groomed green run after a heavy night's worth of snow. And I thought, what better way to find out about that, to learn the real ins and outs of it, by actually speaking to someone right at the heart of running a ski resort. I get to speak to Andy, who is very much at the controlling of Glencoe Ski Resort. In this interview, he gives me a very detailed insight to what it's like, what the last few years have actually been like for Scottish skiing, so a very unique perspective. And then also what they've got coming up. There's quite a few exciting things. Scottish skiing is very different to what else we might see in Europe. But the general running of a resort may well be the same across, which is that they rely on the weather, and also obviously a lot of the time relying on the people. But he'll tell you more. Just before we delve into that, if you're watching this on YouTube, the next thing you're going to see is not a lot really. It's just going to be a picture of this right here. But if you're listening it to any of the podcast platforms, you don't need to worry. You can just sit back and enjoy this interview, and I'll be back with you afterwards. So, Andy, thanks very much for taking the time to take my call. Are you able to, first of all, just tell a little bit about your role at Glencoe?
Yeah, I'm Andy Meldrum. I'm the managing director and owner there. I've been for the last 9 years. Business has been running for 62 years. I've been at the helm for the last 9.
Wow, and I mean, currently at the moment, you're up in the resort, are you?
No, at the moment I have an office at home as well. I find that one of the interesting things about operating a ski area is that it's normally pretty full on when you're actually on site. And big advantage I've found is being off site a couple of days a week, so that I can do all the long term planning. Yeah,
how's the resort looking at the moment?
Yeah, it's good. I think we're even due our first snow of the winter this towards the end of this week, so we're all moving in the right direction for another winter.
Yeah, there's definitely certainly been a little bit more of a chill in the air over the last few days. How would you describe last winter then for you guys? Was it good? Was it bad?
Yeah, I mean the last 2 winters have been really showing up what Scottish skiing can do. Last winter we had our best ever winter. We had over 41,000 skiers. The winter before we had our worst ever winter, and we only had just over 4,000 skiers. So made a huge difference. 2 years ago, we had 9 proper skier days. Last year, we were open for 160 days. So we have huge fluctuations in our operation.
Wow, I mean, obviously, so the last 2 seasons were really good. I mean, what would you say stood out last season in particular?
What would I say?
Stood out?
Yeah, I think just the fact that we opened for skiing on the 28th of November, which is our earliest ever date, and we didn't close till the 7th of May. And throughout that time, we had pretty good skiing, not only on the mountain, but actually all the way to the car park, and it's quite unusual. We normally only ski to the car park for a couple of weeks in the season. Last year we skied to the car park for about 11 or 12 weeks.
So I want to really talk today about what it's like running a resort, because as skiers we come into contact with different parts of resort operations sort of every moment we're in the mountains. What would you say are the perceptions of running a resort?
The most interesting thing about running a resort probably is the fact that people just think everything happens very, very easily, and our staff turn up half an hour before they do. And the reality, most days, is probably very, very different. You know, our office staff are often in at 4 or 5 in the morning. Our hill staff are often in overnight, working, grooming, setting lifts up, getting everything going for busy weekends. The amount of effort and energy it takes from some pretty dedicated staff to actually, even get us open on some days is huge. And customers don't see that. They turn up, and if we're 5 minutes late opening, then they might not be happy. But some days the weather can be very much against us, and it's quite a challenge even getting opening at all.
So you guys never really sleep then?
I'm probably not so bad, but I think some of our key hill staff, at times in the winter have a pretty tough time because we work to the weather, we work to conditions, and we go through periods when we have incredible amounts of snow falling, great conditions. We're incredibly busy, but we have all the challenges with grooming, digging stuff out, dealing with huge numbers of customers, and then we also have periods in the winter where it goes very quiet. The conditions may not be great, and numbers drop right off. So we get really used to dealing with a boom and bust culture. We can have 1,000 skiers one day and 100 skiers the next day, and with the same number of staff dealing with it. So it's probably the biggest challenge is we're either overstaffed or understaffed, because unlike European resorts where they know that in the village they've got X number of visitors. Scottish skiing is all about people looking at a forecast, picking it, identifying a good day, and then coming en masse in one day and avoiding the other days. So we do see these huge peaks and troughs in skier numbers, which create quite a challenge.
Do you tend to find that the people that come to your resort, are they sort of within an hour's drive of the resort, or do they come from all over the country and then also abroad?
I think if you look at our customers, this is only anecdotal, but I think around 80% of our customers come from the Central Belt, and mainly Glasgow, which is probably about an hour and a half away. The other 20% come from the rest of Scotland, Northern Ireland. We get quite a lot of people from the north of England, particularly at holiday periods. And we do see a small number of people from abroad, but it's a very, very small percentage. Most of our skiers are day trippers who watch the weather, sit in Glasgow, watch the weather, look for the good day. And people's working patterns are a bit more flexible now, so we can have a busy day on a Tuesday, not just at weekends now.
Mm. How does Glencoe stand out from the other Scottish resorts?
I think what customers will tell you, what I experienced myself, is that we for quite a small resort, we've got a pretty unique amount of terrain and some incredibly steep challenging terrain, but also on the plateau area we've got probably what must be one of the best beginners areas in Scotland or anywhere in the world when we have great snow in it. So we have that really good balance between really, really good, extreme, exciting skiing, and we host a free-ride event every year, and a very, very, very good beginners area, and we've been really lucky. We've had some good ski seasons, and we're slowly but surely managing to develop and grow the resort. We've got a new chair in, putting a new chair in at the moment. We put a new toe in a couple of years back, new drive slope, putting a new garage in this year for the machines to stay in. A lot of stuff happening that is slowly but surely improving the customer experience.
Have you got sort of a long-term goal for the growth of the resort then?
No, not necessarily so much the growth, but it's all, for us, it's all about customer experience. It's all about making sure that when I first started, we had one very old piece machine. We now have 3, and 2 of them are the latest state-of-the-art machines. We never used to have online ski hire. This year we'll have online ticketing and online ski hire. We put in a new lift, as I said a couple of years ago. We're putting in a new chairlift, which will be completed next year. Slowly but surely, we're developing. We also have put accommodation in, so we're the only sort of resort that on a good day you can ski back to your cabin and stay overnight. So we actually have accommodation on site. So we're slowly but surely building this sort of a unique place that people can come and ski and enjoy. It's a pretty wild part of the country, but amazing scenery, amazing place to be, and as I said, if we can slowly improve the customer experience, then because I think in the old days the ski at Glencoe you had to be pretty hardy because there was quite a bit of walking involved. The lifts, the tows, the facilities were all very, very rough, but we're working away at turning it into a sort of more modern ski area.
So when the winter season starts, how big an operation is it?
We have 23 full-time staff. In the summer that goes up to about 30 with seasonal cafe staff. In the winter we go up to about 75, so about 2.5 times bigger. And that's stuff like ski hire, ski school. In the summer we only run 1 cafe. In the winter we have 2 cafes operational, and then all our lift operators, and then all our engineering staff for ski patrol. So it grows, but we get a lot of staff who come back year after year for ski patrol and for ski hire. So it's a pretty well-oiled machine now that these guys come back. They've been doing it for quite a number of years, and everything just clicks back into place. The big change this year is that with our new snow factory snowmaking technology that we're setting an opening date this year. So normally we have to wait till the snow falls more enough and then we open, and that could be December, it could be January, it could be February. This year we plan to open the 1st of December, and that's with man-made snow.
I was going to ask about the snowmaking shortly, but you've talked about weather and also numbers being a huge factor when you're running a ski resort and during the season. I mean, what would you say are some of the other things that you have to consider when you are running a resort?
I'm just trying to think. I mean, the weather's the biggest challenge, because that's what we looking at last year. We had 160 days that we were open from the start to the end of the season, but we lost 24 and a half days to strong winds, and in these days we couldn't open for skiing, and that then creates a challenge, because we then have staff that we don't have work for, and so probably the biggest challenge is staffing, because we have these huge peaks and troughs, and on a busy day when we have 1,000 people, we don't have enough staff to manage everything properly, and when we have a quiet day or a day when we're shut, then we have lots of staff, and it's too wild for us to new. So it's that's probably the biggest challenge that we have.
Okay. For you, what is the best thing about being at the heart of the resort and its operations? Skiers probably see it in a completely different light, as we've touched on, but I imagine you see it in a completely different way. So in your eyes, what's the best thing?
Oh, the best thing about my job by a long way is that I do most of the marketing, promotion, social media for the resort, which means that most days in the ski season I make sure I get up on the hill. I make sure I'm around taking pictures, talking to customers and talking to staff. And I love to ski. I love to be up in the mountains and to have a job that allows me to do that. I looked at myself and the team we've got at the moment. We're the custodians or the caretakers of Glencoe at the moment. It's 62 years old. The ski resort has passed through a number of people who've run and operated and looked after it. And when we're gone, there'll be other people will be running, looking after and making it a special place. And it's actually it's really good and amazing to be able to do a job where you're creating something that provides so much joy to people that are up there.
And how would you say the resort's shaping up for this season?
Yeah, I think good. I mean, we had hoped to have a new 3-man chair in by this year, but we had some sort of planning and planning delays, which meant it's slightly delayed, won't go until next year. But we've got our new snowmaking kit in this year. We've got a new garage in the process being built, so it means our piste machines will be indoors, and it makes life so much easier for our engineers. We're launching online ticket sales this year for people buying their tickets so they can get them before they arrive in the hill. We're launching online ski hire so people can pre-book the ski hire and guarantee it's going to be there for them. Doing a bit of an upgrade to the cafe at the bottom. So lots going on. That's what always happens on the back of a good ski year. We have a little bit of money in the bank, and we manage to push forward with development plans. And I think customers will see quite a big difference in the place this year.
And you mentioned the snowmaking, which I want to ask about, because it was getting quite a bit of press coverage, I noticed, during the summer. Obviously a bit of a campaign behind it to get it for the resort. I mean, just talk to me a bit about how that's all come about.
Yeah, I think we've been looking at snowmaking ever since I came to the resort, and we had over the last 4 or 5 years bought snow cannons, which make snow in temperatures of sort of -2 or -3. The problem we have on the west coast of Scotland is that we often have high humidity. We often don't get the really low temperatures that are great for making snow, and we found that while the cannons were effective, they weren't really the answer. So we've been looking at alternative snowmaking that could make snow in any temperatures, and the technology we've just bought is a snow factory, and it will make snow in up to 25 degrees. That allows us to make snow in any weather and absolutely guarantee. It may not be a huge part of the mountain, but it means we can absolutely guarantee that we'll have one run or part of a run or a sledging area or a beginner's area, and we can guarantee that we will have snow in that area, and at a set date in the season we'll be able to open, we'll be able to have people on the mountain, and it just means we can start employing instructors, we can employ our ski hire staff, we can employ people, give them a set start date. In the past we used to look for seasonal staff and tell them that we would give them a call when we had enough snow to open, which wasn't great for them, wasn't great for us, and it's made a huge difference. The technology is quite expensive, but it's a real game changer, because it not only means that we can guarantee an opening date, but local hotels, businesses, the local economy will see a huge benefit, because they know that we can guarantee throughout the season we'll have at least some snow. So it gives customers confidence to book hotels and come and stay at or near the resort.
Wow, so it is. That does sound really quite exciting. But you were just touching it on there, then, that a lot of the the local businesses and restaurants and so forth, they rely on you guys to have good snow to bring the people in.
Yeah, definitely. We're in an area which, tourism-wise, because we're on the West Island Way, and Glencoe is really well known, that in the summer the local hotels and businesses are very, very busy. But in the winter, it drops off a bit, and they rely on us. I mean, every year we have a good ski season. The local hotels and businesses, see a really big uptick in their trade. If we have a bad ski season, everything goes backwards for them. So they rely on us doing well, and the fact that we've invested in this technology means that it should mean that their customers will book. They'll have more reliable business throughout the winter, and it should be really good for the whole area. But it wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for our customers, because we partially crowdfunded the unit. So local businesses, customers, all helped, all got involved, and have worked to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. So when are you planning to turn on that snowmaker then?
Yeah, the plan is late October, early November, and it'll run for a month. So it'll run for a month, just making giant piles of snow, and then towards the end of November, start of December, the piece machines will come in and just push that snow out and make depending on how well it goes. I mean, there are factors that affect it. If it's really mild and it rains a lot, then some of the snow will disappear. But or if it's really cold, then we can use our snow cannons to make additional snow. So there's no guarantee exactly how much snow we'll have, but we will have enough to open one ski run or a part of a ski run or a sledging area and a beginner ski area. So 1st of December is when we plan to open, and we'll have made snow for about a month before that.
Mm. So Andy, I've got to wrap this up, but just one final question. For anybody that's not been to Glencoe Ski Resort, I mean, how would you describe it? Well,
Glencoe Ski Resort sits right in the middle of Rannoch Moor, which is one of the last wilderness areas in Scotland. So amazing wild scenery. The resort itself has, because we sit in the west coast of Scotland, we get some of the highest snowfall that you get anywhere in Scotland. The resort's known as White Corries, and that's for a very good reason, because the corries keep their snow well into the summer. So we very often have great snow right into the late part of the season. Amazing friendly customers, because most of our customers come from Glasgow, and it's amazing to watch. Sometimes that a visitor will come, they'll pull out their piece map to have a look to try and work out where they are, and within seconds there'll be 2 or 3 of our customers going over to give them assistance, show them around, to help them out. So amazing customers, great staff, beautiful area to ski in, and great snow at times, and really just a great place for an adventure.
Oh. Well, listen, thanks very much for coming on the show, and I wish you guys all the best for the season.
No, thank you very much. Okay.
And there you go. That was a really interesting look inside what it is like to actually run a ski resort, what the challenges are like, how a resort gets ready for the winter season, and then when it actually starts to snow and the season gets running, what are the things that they have to do, and how much is actually required. I don't think I could have really have thought about much of that on my own, so to really get that level of detail from Andy was something that I really enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed listening to that too. If this is something that you enjoyed, please hit the subscribe button, whether it's on the podcast platforms, whether it's on YouTube. If you're on the YouTube channel, subscribe to it and hit the like button on this video, which will help obviously just keep more and more things coming. By all means, head over and check out the videos as well. You can also find me on a Facebook page and also on Instagram. The links to those will be in the YouTube channel. But I hope you can join us next time for the podcast. As we get ever closer to the ski season, there'll be more shows coming. So thanks for listening.